Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily English Talk podcast, where we help you improve your English one conversation at a time. I'm Emma.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack. Hope you're having a great day. I have a question for you. Have you ever started something new and felt completely overwhelmed?
Oh, absolutely. I remember when I first tried learning Spanish, the grammar, the pronunciation, it all felt like, well, such a huge mountain to climb right at the beginning.
Exactly. And that's what I think many of you learning English experience. You see fluency as this distant goal, and the path seems impossibly long, leading to feeling discouraged.
It can definitely feel that way. But what if I told you the key isn't conquering that mountain in one giant leap, but rather taking consistent, tiny steps?
Yeah, that's the core of what we're exploring today. We'll be looking at how these small, regular actions can lead to significant English improvement without that feeling of being, swamped.
We'll be sharing some straightforward, practical tips you can use immediately. Think of it as understanding the engine of language learning rather than just memorizing parts.
Right. And ultimately, you'll see that becoming fluent isn't about these massive study sessions, but about weaving small, smart habits into your daily routine.
Just settle in and let's get to it. Okay, so let's tackle the big question. Why are these small steps so crucial when you're learning English? You mentioned feeling overwhelmed starting new things. Can you think of an example, maybe beyond language learning?
Sure. My attempt to get into shape comes to mind. I went to the gym, saw everyone doing these intense workouts, and tried to match that on day one. Predictably, I was incredibly sore for days and completely lost my motivation.
Oh, that's such a great analogy for how many people approach English learning. They feel they need to study for hours, memorize endless vocabulary lists, and, aim for perfect pronunciation immediately. The result is often burnout and, giving up.
Right. But what if, instead of that intense but unsustainable approach to the gym, I had committed to just, say, 15 minutes of exercise each day?
That's the crucial shift, isn't it? Consistency trumps intensity. When it comes to English, making small daily habits, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, builds momentum and leads to substantial progress over time.
Yeah, I remember reading about a fascinating approach called the 5-minute rule, used by someone who eventually became fluent in Japanese.
Tell me more. What's that all about?
Well, the core idea is to commit to studying for just 5 minutes each day. The bar is so low, there's almost no resistance to starting. No pressure, no daunting goals, just a tiny 5-minute commitment.
Right. And what happened? Did they really stick to just 5 minutes?
Interestingly, no. What often happened was that once they started, the initial inertia was overcome. 5 minutes would often turn into 15, then 30, because the hardest part is usually just getting started, right? Over a year, this consistent low-pressure approach led to comfortable fluency.
That really highlights something important about how our brains work. Small, manageable tasks feel much less threatening than huge, overwhelming ones. It's easier to convince yourself, okay, I can do 5 minutes.
Exactly. And this ties into a psychological principle known as the compound effect. Have you come across that idea?
Yes, I have. It's the concept that small, incremental improvements, when done consistently over time, lead to surprisingly significant results. Like that idea of improving just 1% each day, which ends up making you 37 times better after a year.
Precisely. Now apply that to English. Learning just one new useful phrase each day translates to learning 365 phrases in a year. Think about how much more confident you'd feel with that many new tools.
It's a really encouraging way to look at progress, definitely. It takes the pressure off needing to make massive leaps and focuses on those small, manageable steps that don't feel stressful.
But there's a common mental trap that many learners fall into, which is the all or nothing mindset.
Oh, I know that one well. It's that thought process of, if I can't dedicate a whole hour to studying, then there's no point in doing anything at all. It's so easy to fall into that.
Exactly. We hear things like, I simply don't have the time for English study today, or I can't practice speaking because I'm not fluent enough yet, or the classic, I'll start next week when my schedule is less crazy.
Yeah, and the consequence, as you said earlier, is often procrastination, and ultimately, no progress at all. That perfect moment rarely arrives, does it?
It really doesn't. But the reality is, doing something, no matter how small, is always better than doing nothing. Even listening to a short podcast segment like this one is a step forward.
Absolutely. So instead of thinking about that elusive hour of study, maybe ask yourself, can I listen to just 5 minutes of English audio? Can I try to learn just one new vocabulary word today? Or maybe can I attempt to say just a single sentence in English?
And the wonderful thing is, these small actions build momentum. The more you do them, the easier they become. And often, like the 5-minute rule, you'll find yourself doing more than you initially planned.
So the key message here is that significant progress isn't usually the result of sudden breakthroughs, but rather the accumulation of consistent small efforts, day after day.
Exactly. Even dedicating just 5 to 10 minutes to focused English practice each day can lead to a remarkable transformation in your abilities over time. Really.
So if you're listening and feeling overwhelmed, remember, don't aim for perfection today. Just commit to something small, something manageable. That's the starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, let's move on to the practical side of things. What are some specific small daily practices that could be highly effective for improving English? If someone truly only has about 10 minutes a day, what would you recommend?
That's a really common situation. And yeah, the good news is that even with that limited time, you can make real progress by focusing on short, targeted activities. Let's outline 5 simple daily habits that fit into that time frame. First up, let's talk about listening.
Yes, listening is such a powerful tool for language acquisition. And it's something you can often do passively, right?
Yeah.
Without needing to sit down at a desk.
Exactly. You can weave it into your existing routines, listen while you're cooking, during your commute, while you're taking a walk, or even, as you're getting ready in the morning.
Morning routine English immersion. Okay, so what kind of listening material should people be looking for? Does it matter?
Well, it really depends on your current level. If you're a beginner, look for podcasts specifically designed for learners, where the speakers use clear and slightly slower speech. Audiobooks graded for your level can also be great. For intermediate learners, try short YouTube videos on topics you enjoy, maybe news snippets or TED Talks with subtitles available. And for advanced learners, dive into more natural conversations like TV show clips or interviews.
And it's important to remember, right, that you don't need to understand every single word.
Oh, definitely not.
Even catching a few new words or just getting a feel for the rhythm and intonation of English is beneficial.
Absolutely. The goal is exposure training your ear to the sounds and patterns of the language naturally. Okay, so habit number 2. Let's talk about vocabulary.
The building blocks of any language. Okay, what's a manageable approach here? Not 50 words a day, I hope.
No. How about focusing on learning just 5 new words each day? That might sound like a tiny number.
This seemed very achievable, yeah.
But let's look at the cumulative effect. 5 new words a day adds up to around 150 new words every month and over 1,800 new words in a single year. That's actually a significant expansion of your vocabulary.
Wow, when you frame it like that, it's quite motivating. Okay, so what's the most effective way to learn these 5 words? Just write them down.
Well, keeping a dedicated vocabulary notebook is good, either physical or digital. Apps like Anki or Quizlet, which use spaced repetition, can also be incredibly helpful. And here's a crucial tip. Don't just write down the word and its definition. Always try to write a full example sentence using that word.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Seeing the word in context helps you understand how it's actually used and makes it much easier to remember, doesn't it?
Exactly. So commit to identifying 5 new words each day, maybe from your listening, and actively trying to incorporate them into your speaking or writing later. Now, this next one might feel a little outside some people's comfort zone.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It involves actually speaking, doesn't it?
It does. Habit number 3 is to speak at least 1 sentence in English every single day.
Okay, and I can already hear some people thinking, but who am I going to talk to?
Yeah.
That's the big hurdle for many.
That's a common concern, but the great thing is you don't necessarily need a conversation partner for this, especially at the start.
That's right. One very effective technique is to simply talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing, what you're thinking, or what you see around you. Narrate your life a bit.
Absolutely. For example, if you're making your morning coffee, say out loud, "I am making coffee. The aroma is wonderful." Or something simple like that.
Or if you step outside, you could say, "It's a sunny day today. There are a few clouds in the sky." Simple, everyday observations work great.
It might feel a bit strange at first, I admit, but with a little practice, it becomes more natural and helps you get comfortable forming sentences and using the vocabulary, kind of like activating it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you do want to practice with other people, there are fantastic language exchange apps out there, like HelloTalk and Tandem, where you can connect with other learners and native speakers pretty easily. Okay, moving on to habit number 4, which I really like. Actively using English in your daily life.
This is about making English less of a separate study activity and more integrated into what you already do.
Right.
So
Definitely. Think about small changes, like switching the language settings on your phone to English. That's an easy one.
That's a great start. What are some other examples?
Well, you could try thinking in English instead of your native language when you have a spare moment. Even just describing your immediate surroundings in your head. Or try writing your shopping list in English. If you're communicating with friends online, maybe send one short message in English each day. Little things.
I love that. These small shifts make English a more natural part of your environment and your routines. All right, and the fifth daily habit we recommend, watching one short English video every day.
Yes. And this doesn't have to be a formal lesson, right? It could be a funny clip on YouTube, a short scene from a movie or TV show you enjoy, or maybe a brief interview, whatever interests you.
And a really helpful technique here, I find, is to watch the video once with subtitles in English to make sure you understand the content, and then watch it again without subtitles, focusing purely on your listening comprehension.
Exactly. First, you're ensuring you grasp the meaning, and then you're training your ear to recognize the spoken words and maybe even improve your pronunciation by hearing native speakers.
Okay, so to recap our 5 small but effective daily practices. Listen to at least 5 minutes of English audio, learn around 5 new words with sentences, speak at least 1 English sentence, even to yourself, find small ways to use English in your daily life, and watch 1 short English video.
That's it. Just incorporating these small activities into your day, even for a total of just 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20, can lead to surprisingly rapid improvement over time. It really adds up.
Remember, it's about consistent small steps leading to significant results. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for a large block of free time. Start today with just 1 tiny action.
So that wraps up our main discussion on why small steps matter and some practical ways to implement them. It really boils down to consistency, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We've talked about how trying too much too soon leads to burnout, but these small daily habits, listening, learning a few words, speaking a sentence, using English daily, watching short videos, they build momentum.
Right, it's that compound effect again. Small inputs, consistently applied, yield big outputs over the long run. It's much less intimidating than thinking you need hours every day.
And we touched on overcoming that all or nothing mindset. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. Even 2 minutes is progress.
Yeah, reframing it helps. Not, I don't have time. But can I find 5 minutes? It shifts the perspective.
We listed those 5 key habits: daily listening, learning a few words with context, speaking even just a sentence, integrating English into daily tasks, and watching short videos.
All very manageable chunks of time. And remember, language learning isn't just about grammar rules and vocabulary lists. It's about connecting with people, exploring new ideas, building confidence.
That's a great point. It opens up worlds. So the real call to action now is for everyone listening. Choose one of those small actions we discussed. Just one.
Yeah, don't try to do all 5 tomorrow if that feels overwhelming. Pick one. Maybe it's listening to 5 minutes of a podcast on your commute. Maybe it's learning 3 new words today instead of 5.
Or maybe it's just saying 1 sentence out loud in English before you go to bed tonight. Whatever feels easiest to start with.
Exactly. And we'd love to hear what you choose. Maybe share it with a friend or just make that commitment to yourself. What's the one small step you'll take today?
Definitely. And of course, if you found this helpful, please subscribe so you don't miss our future conversations.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Remember, small steps, big progress. Start small, stay consistent, and you'll get there.